I'm Megan Goranson.
And I'm Scott Goranson. We're in Yakima, Washington. We're sitting in Wally and Stella Byam's Airstream that they used on the 1956 Mexico and European Caravans.
Scott and I have been restoring Airstreams for a long time. Both of us, we discovered that we both loved Airstream trailers. So we bought our first Airstream. It was a 69.
And then I think at one point we were up to 5 or 6 here.
We've found Airstreams that were going to be trashed and fixed them up so that they wouldn't end up in the recycling bin. And
this one came up on Craigslist, in the Portland Craigslist, and actually one of our friends sent me a link to this Craigslist ad and said, look at this weird Airstream. And it was painted with butterflies and stars and rainbows and all sorts of stuff all over it.
It said that it was a 55, but it had all the markings of a different year. It had the Jalopy windows. It wasn't a 55.
I kept going back every couple nights just staring at this ad going, this is weird. I finally contacted Joe Poplinski, the historian, sent him pictures.
Joe called Scott and said, you have to buy that trailer. That's Wally Byam's trailer, and was adamant that we needed to get this trailer in somebody's hands that knew what it was and wouldn't just scrap it.
This trailer was one of Wally's prototypes. There were just so many things that were unique in it. It was pre-production, just trying out things to see what worked. And so there wasn't really anything that was normal on it for the trailer. So it stopped raining right when we got down to the trailer, about 5 miles from this blue sky. And there it was, in all its not glory. It was a mess.
I only wish that videos could capture the smell, because it was pretty bad. It definitely needed the love. And so learning more about the history of the trailer and the history of the club and the importance of these caravans, and knowing the impact Wally Byam had on all these people who love this pastime and love these trailers. It was like just knowing that in the right hands it could be brought back to what it was really important. Because, I mean, it is a piece of history.
Every morning from sunup until it got too hot, and then after dinner until I couldn't see anymore, I was out there with chemical stripper, pulling paint off and sealer off of that thing. Because on aluminum body, you can't just sit there and sand it off. You have to strip it off with chemicals, and there's probably close to 2,000 hours. I know I put over 600 hours the first summer just stripping all the paint off the outside.
He'd come in just sweaty and gross, and it'd be like, hey, and how'd you, I got like 2 feet done. Like,
They had cut a hole in the side of the trailer over here about a foot diameter so they could run a wood stove out the side.
And had burned parts of the trailer in order to keep warm.
It was definitely the worst condition of a trailer we've ever worked on. Of the trailers we've worked on, this one was the closest to being too far gone. It really was. I mean, you look and you see they boarded up the windows. Well, they boarded up the windows with parts of the cabins. It's just the hunt for all the special pieces and fabricating what you need to put it back together. So,
being on the European Caravan, there's tons of pictures of this trailer.
Actually, this one down here, we can see the magazines in the magazine rack. That's where we pull that information out of. And
you can see here pulling the details of the cups that were there, and seeing them and being able to find all of those bits and pieces that take it from just being that trailer to really being a snapshot into that little bit of history. I remember when Dale Schwamborn came in and sat down in there in the trailer and just got a feel for it, and just being able to go, this is the right thing to do.
We've been friends with Dale for a long time, but it's been a whole new level of trying to find pictures. He's gone through so much of his mom's estate, finding pictures for us and trying to help solve questions of things that we couldn't, we didn't understand. Because without those pictures that he and his mom had, there's just not anything out there to help us put it back together. So.
We went through and had to reference pictures of Dale Schwamborn's mom's, Helen, her trailers. There weren't a lot of trailers in this vintage that had the front kitchen. And in all the pictures that we'd seen of this trailer, there weren't any shots of the front kitchen. So we had to reference her pictures and other pictures of other front kitchens to try to make sure we got those details right.
Oh, that panel's got ripples in it. Should I replace it? No, well, you can see some of that in those pictures. It's that, the bathroom is all the wood in the bathroom is all original, even though there's water stains and stuff in some of it that, going through and mixing stains and stuff, you try to blend and try to minimize that, just like if you're restoring an antique piece of furniture or something. But you know, it's that balance. Well, I could remake that cabinet out of a new piece of wood, and it would look, you know, look amazing in a fraction of the time. But you're sitting there trying to glue all the little pieces of veneer back on. It's been one really big puzzle trying to unravel and figure out all these little details. You get a picture and you'd stare at it for a while, and you go, "What is this? What is this?" The record player was one of those we could not figure out because you can't see all the details in the picture of it. You can only see the handle and the knobs and that part. Well, you couldn't see a brand. You know, pictures of him sitting on the step reading a magazine. You know, just little things, or you see pictures of him with the radio going. You know, it's fun. We come out here and turn on the Mariners game and listen to the radio out here, and let the kids read a book or something. It's been kind of neat for them to get to grow up around that history. Our son Jason, he's 12 now, but he really on this project, they've both always been involved, but he was finally at the age where he could actually be quite a bit of help. And so, you know, for all the riveting that we did with the solid rivets, it takes 2 people to rivet, and he did all but a couple of the rivets on this trailer. I mean, thousands of rivets where he was holding the bucking bar on the back side while we were driving rivets. He learned a lot helping and learning how to use tools correctly and the different skills, and he helped sand and help put things together, and you know, just I think the work ethic and seeing what it takes to do something and the time that it takes to do it, and seeing that project through.
I think it's been amazing to take that piece of what most people probably saw as junk and turn it back into what it was, to take that piece of history and to revive it. And I mean, I think we're very proud to have saved that piece of history, and to preserve it for generations to come is really amazing.
It's amazing to see people's responses. Some people, you know, there are a lot of people taking pictures with it, but I mean, there was people over that, you know, can I touch it? And they were crying. They were, you know, that's, you know, it's a real meaningful thing to them. So everywhere we took it, just tons of people wanted to see it. And we just thought, you know, this needs to be somewhere where it can be enjoyed. We didn't enjoy towing it around, so either it was going to live in our garage, which would only be a small amount of people that would ever get to enjoy it, or we could take it and work with Airstream, and especially with them opening their Heritage Center. I
think some of the harder stuff was being willing to let it go.
There's something calming about knowing where it's going, but it's also hard to let it go. You know, you realize when it leaves, it's not something you can ever have again.
I think it's a little bittersweet, but at the same time, I'm so relieved knowing that it's going to really what we think is the right place. I mean, we worked with Airstream for over a year on getting this to go to the Heritage Center, because that's where we thought it belonged. And we felt that it was kind of a shame that it was just sitting here at our house and people couldn't enjoy it. And it felt very selfish of us to have this little time capsule of Airstream history just sitting in our side yard where nobody else could enjoy it.
I mean, it's been a journey. You know, I've learned a lot, and it's been real satisfying to see where it started and where it's going, and to know that, you know, in 20 years our kids can still go and see where it's at, and show, if they have kids, show them, you know, hey, we worked on this trailer, and the history behind it.
I think Airstream means the world to some people, and it means a lot to those of us who are Airstreamers. I mean, it's not just about a trailer that you hitch up and take on vacations. It's just crazy to think that we're part of something so big, you know? I mean, to know that we restored a trailer that's gonna go to a museum and hopefully be seen for decades by hundreds of people, thousands of people, you know, it's humbling. I mean, it's quite amazing to think that that's where this is headed, and at the same time, I'm so glad that we saved this piece. I mean, there aren't very many trailers that Wally Byam slept in, and to know that we had an opportunity to keep this one from ending up somewhere else is really cool. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty amazing to be part of that.